Tell me again why you're on the roof?
Because I saw this really cool video on YouTube about how to create a pleasing visual light display for Christmas. They suggested to start at the top, so here I am.
Did they also suggest who's going to pay for all the extra electricity that this is going to use?
Well, no. But they did say that you can't put a price limit on art or on Christmas.
They can't. I can. Let's go.
Oh, but Daddy, couldn't we at least plug these lights in just to see how they look? Please? Please?
Oh, all right. These are all tangled. Where's the plug? See, this is why I hate doing this. It's like this every year. They all get tangled. The plug has to be here somewhere. Couldn't... See, this is not fun. Not merry at all.
Found it.
Thanks.
No problem. Ooh, isn't it pretty, Daddy?
Yeah, it is kind of pretty. Well, maybe we should...
I saw this really good video on YouTube about how to properly wire a ground fault plug. I'll send it to you. Hey, it's actually trending at number 2. Baby Yoda in the Santa hat is still number 1. He's so cute. Isn't he so cute?
Live from upstate New York, it's Screen Bites.
Screen Bites Live with Miss Laney, Juan Espana, Lil Tasty, and your host, Laney's dad.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, I am so ready for the holidays this year. I wanted to get in the Christmas spirit, so I just took a trip to the North Pole to see where all the magic happens. And I learned so much that I never knew before. For instance, everyone up there is the same nationality. They're all North Polish. Oh, and did you know that they have a McDonald's there? It's true. They serve burgers. Oh, and of course, they have a Starbucks. Those deer love their coffee. Speaking of deer, I actually ran into Rudolph. And can you believe it? Of all places, it was at the library. Well, he is very well read. You know, I expected the deer. What I wasn't prepared for were all the snow people. I mean, the place was covered with them. And they come in all shapes and sizes. I even saw one who must have been a bodybuilder because he had a six-pack. I think he was the abdominal snowman. Now, I did that new Airbnb thing and actually stayed with a really nice snowman and his family. Well, they were mostly nice. To be completely honest, I think he had anger management issues. I mean, he had a meltdown the first night I was there. Yeah. We were having this nice conversation, and I happened to mention that my plow service was unreliable, and he just snapped. Maybe he was bipolar. Yeah, I'm not sure that Airbnb screened them properly. Like, the beds were covered with sheets of ice. And for breakfast, all they had were Frosted Flakes and Ice Krispies. Oh, and it was so disgusting because their son kept reaching in the vegetable bin and picking his nose. You know, but the place was really clean, especially the bathroom. They used a lot of Comet. And actually, you know, it all worked out in the end. And, you know, I even comped them some tickets for tonight's show, but I guess they got cold feet. Oh well. You know, they might not be here, but you are, and we've got a great show for you, so keep it right here.
Hello? I'd like an iPad for my brother.
Sorry, we don't do trades.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Paula Janey, and this is Frostline. Tonight, a Frostline exclusive, Frosty the Snowman. He is more than just a collection of frozen water, but a living, breathing creature whose sacrifice brings the fate of our world into clear focus. This evening, we will finally relate to you the whole story, not the watered-down version the government would have you believe. We'll explore Frosty's story from his humble beginnings as a rain cloud over the Great Lakes to his final hours, where he pushed his cause all the way to the Oval Office. To begin this story, Walter Barbas.
Thank you, Paula. Our story begins with the first snowfall of the season. At approximately 11:10 on the morning of December 4th, the children of PS 42 rushed from the warm, safe confines of their classroom to the playground outside and began to play in the snow. One group decided that they would create snow people. It is not certain how this construction was carried out or how long it took, but Frostline has verified that the conditions were just right. In an exclusive interview with Frostline, third grader Johnny Perkins alluded to this fact. Said Johnny, "It was perfect snow for packing." Before long, Frosty's body and head were formed out of snowballs. Twigs were used for arms, and 2 lumps of coal and a button provided him a face. A corncob pipe was initially proposed, but later rejected as some felt the endorsement inappropriate for a schoolyard. Finally, a top hat of unknown origin was placed atop Frosty's head. What came next has been described as everything from a gust of wind to a frigid tornado of snow crystals, from which emerged a living, breathing, fully articulate snow being who began to dance around. Reports of this vary, but most indicate that this was a type of salsa dancing, possibly even choreographed by Derek Huff. The children were amazed. The arrival of Frosty was so magical and exciting that they immediately began to dance and laugh and play with the newly animated ice creature. This continued for several hours, but, like all things good, it was about to come to an abrupt end.
When Frostline returns, Frosty makes a chilling discovery, and later, the crusade that would spell his undoing. But first, a look at tonight's top stories with Philip Stones.
Thank you, Paula. Tonight on the evening news, elves up in arms over Disney's use of dwarves in the new Santa movie. And the investigation continues tonight in Whoville. Details at 11. Paula?
Thank you, Philip. And so, Frosty's life had begun. In a schoolyard in upstate New York, a group of children and a snowman laughed and played as the sun climbed high into the sky on what was becoming a warm December's day. Once again, Walter Barbas.
Thank you, Paula. In the midst of their fun, Frosty began to feel wet and heavy. Frosty reportedly said that it was very hot and that if the temperature kept rising, there would be, quote, nothing left of him. At this critical juncture, the children informed Frosty that the unseasonal heat was caused by global warming due to the depletion of the ozone layer. Frosty determined that immediate action was necessary. With the help of the children, Frosty decided that a march on Washington was the only answer. He ran through the neighborhood, mobilizing the rest of the snow citizens. Soon, Frosty had gathered a crowd that, according to some reports, swelled into the tens of thousands. Said one onlooker, it was the biggest collection of flakes he'd ever seen. And so began the march. Frosty led the parade with a broomstick held high in his hand. Others carried signs reading, "No ozone equals no snow zone," and "We won't just melt away." The march ground to a halt when police hollered, "Stop." In order to urge the crowd on, Frosty ran here and there, all around the square, taunting the police, shouting, quote, "Catch me if you can." Just when it looked as if a riot might develop, intervention came from the highest office in the land. The president himself had become aware of the unfolding drama and had invited Frosty to speak with him on television about the steps needed to halt ozone breakdown. Frosty accepted the president's offer, and it looked as if the snow people had won. Something, however, went horribly wrong.
Now, for the first time, Frostline reveals the shocking events that occurred at the Ozone Summit and the scandal which followed. The events we are about to relate are sensitive in nature and may be upsetting for some audience members. Viewer discretion is advised. Walter?
Thank you, Paula. What happened on the afternoon of December 5th? Why was the summit never televised? And what became of the snowman called Frosty? Frostline has learned from a source within the television studio what actually transpired that December day. On the condition of anonymity, that source granted Frostline the following exclusive interview.
Frosty arrived at the studio in an optimistic, even jovial mood. The studio lights went on and the sign was given that recording had begun. And as the president spoke, the snowman appeared uncomfortable and sluggish. When the president was through, Frosty tried to state the marcher's position firmly. He seemed very tired. He paused often and had trouble catching his breath, and as time went on, Frosty slumped in the chair, looking worse and worse. By the time we realized what was happening and turned off the hot lights, it was too late. Frosty had melted into a gray pile of slush.
At this point, our source and all of his co-workers were rushed from the studio by Secret Service agents. What became of Frosty's remains is speculation. However, as our source was being removed from the building, he witnessed other agents placing several buckets in the trunk of a government vehicle. When asked for his reaction to the incident, our witness replied, "What they did to that snowman was abominable." However, Frosty's time on this earth, though extremely short, was also extremely significant. Frosty has dramatized the plight of the ozone layer in a way that a squadron of scientists could never have. His work has led to new guidelines for both industry and government agencies to reduce harmful emissions. His memory and his cause live on, as does his legacy. So the next time you take a drink of water, go to the freezer for an ice cube, or stop at a convenience store for a slushie. Remember, Frosty is right there with you.
Next time on Frostline, the disappearance of Happy, the baby New Year. What really happened during those 3 days in December? Until then, I'm Paula Jamie.
And I'm Walter Barber.
Good night. I'm looking for a gift for my mom.
How about a corduroy pillow?
I've never heard of one of those.
Really? They're making headlines.
It is time now, ladies and gentlemen, for a visit from that famous mystic of the East. The all-knowing, all-telling, all-seeing, all-omniscient, famous seer, sage, soothsayer, and former seeing eye person for blind dogs. The amazing Snowdoll. Snowdoll, this way. Welcome, O great seer. I hold in my hands the envelopes. A child of 4 could see these envelopes are hermetically sealed. They've been kept in a Boba Fett thermos on Jon Favreau's front porch since noon today. No one knows the contents of these envelopes. But you, sir, with your mystical and borderline divine way, will ascertain the answers, having never before heard the questions.
It seems like that intro gets longer every time.
Envelope number 1.
Silence, please.
Hermetically sealed.
And I will divine the answer.
Jon Favreau's front porch. Since noon today.
Frostbite.
Frostbite.
What do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire? Bicycle. Excuse me.
Bicycle.
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 How does an environmentally conscious snowman get to work? Bicycle. I get it. Remote locations.
Remote locations.
Where do TVs go for Christmas vacation? On the house.
On the house.
Where does Santa park his sleigh? A big bill.
A big bill.
What do you get when pelicans go Christmas shopping? Snowbank.
Snowbank.
Where does Santa Claus keep his money? May your Christmas stockings be stuffed with what the camel leaves behind. Water.
Water.
What do you call an old snowman? Snowball.
Snowball.
Where did Cinderella lose her snowshoes? There's no business like show business. Figure skating.
Figure skating.
What is a math teacher's favorite sport? Dear John.
Dear John.
Where do Donner and Blitzen take bathroom breaks? Twas the night before Christmas.
'Twas the night before Christmas.
What does Sir Lancelot recite on December 24th? HDMI.
HDMI.
What did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K?
HDMI.
Claustrophobia.
Claustrophobia.
What's the name of the disease where people are afraid of Santa?
I hold in my hands the last envelope.
May J.J. Abrams be the commencement speaker at your child's graduation. Pineapple.
Pineapple.
What do you get when you cross a Christmas tree with an iPad?
When we return, the amazing snow doll will try his hand at gift wrapping. Stay tuned. My uncle's a golfer. What do you suggest?
How about 2 Christmas stockings,
I don't understand.
in case he gets a hole in one?
Now we're going to do a little game that we call Gift to Wrap. We have polled the studio audience and asked them to give their best response to the following question. Name a gift that you've received at a company Christmas party. I hold in my hands the answers provided by our audience. I will pick out a few and ask Dad to perform a rap song about the gift.
Wait a minute. That's not what we talked about in the production meeting. I'm supposed to wrap presents and make puns about the contents.
Yeah, no. This is way funnier.
But I can't rap.
See, it's already got more potential than listening to your dad jokes.
The audience loves my jokes. Trust me, they do not want to hear me rap.
Okay, why don't we let them decide?
I don't think
How many people like my creative gift to wrap idea? And how many people want to hear Dad's lame jokes?
Woohoo!
Thanks, Mom.
That wasn't Grandma. Grandma's over here. The people have spoken. Don't worry, you'll be great. Like when you sing Queen songs in the car.
That's not public knowledge.
Okay, so the first gift is a chia pet.
A gift for your wife, here's a real sure bet. As seen a TV, it's a chia pet. You just add water and it'll look great. If not, it'll make a dandy paperweight. If your wife doesn't like it, be sure and trap her. Remind her about last year when she bought you the clapper.
A raincoat.
Who gives a raincoat for Christmas? A raincoat is a real good gift for you fella. Much more macho than toting an umbrella. Much more practical than a jacket made of leather, especially when walking out in the damp weather. When you give it to him, you can make it kind of funny. When he says reindeer, say it sure did, honey.
Dustbuster.
Everyone can use a handy dust buster. It'll give your room that like new luster. It's got more power than a feathered duster. It'll pick up any mess that you can muster. I'm thinking it won't cost you very many bucks. So come this Christmas, get the gift that sucks.
A book.
Your friend is a reader and he wanted a book, so you went to the mall and you had you a look. You tried Barnes & Noble, you tried B. Dalton, you even tried Borders, but wound up at Walden. They didn't have much, it was real slim picking, so you bought a Christmas Carol and you gave them the Dickens. Word!
I don't understand.
What do you mean you don't understand? That was like genius.
What were all of those names in the middle?
They're famous bookstores. I mean, most of them are out of business now. But...
See, that's the thing, Dad. Most people shop online now. You need to bring it into this century.
Well, I don't think that matters. Your friend is a bookworm and he wanted to read, so you went online to serve that need. You searched Amazon and you tried thrift books. You looked at Barnes & Noble and you checked out their nooks. Then came Cyber Monday and you saw the light. Deal of the day on Twas the Night. The people have spoken.
I'd like to get a nice comb for my dad.
Wait, isn't your dad bald?
Yeah?
Then why do you want to get him a comb?
I want to get him something he'll never part with.
Thank you to Little Tasty, Grandma, Juan España, Miss Laney, Jeff Kidd, and the crew of Screen Bites. Oh, I was supposed to do a New Year's joke. I really dropped the ball on that. Happy holidays and good night.